Hi guys, hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. If you're a first time viewer of my channel, thank you so much for coming. However, where have you been? And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming again and again. It is because of you guys that we keep coming up here, to share, to learn, to unlearn, relearn, and everything in between, which is what, of course, this channel is all about. So, without wasting so much time, let's get into, the gist for today. Gist, literally, but, uplifting discussions, uplifting, talks and topics that will really bless your soul. So today I'm going to be talking on something I've always wanted to share, but life has been happening, really busy in between, and I kept postponing it, but now we have it today. Happy New Year. Yeah, I missed saying that. I think this is my official first video for the year 2024, and I'm excited to be talking about this as my first video in 2024, because we want to give 2024 the energy that it needs. There's a certain kind of frequency you come into a year with that determines how the year is going to be, for you, and all of that good stuff. So happy New Year, guys. Good to see your lovely faces again. I'm having my glasses on because it's more like an official discussion we'll be having, and this is me most of the times, while working and all of that. The story I've always wanted to share is about how I transitioned into my line of career right now. For those of you that do not know, I'm a human resource generalist, and rewind to a year or about 2 years ago when I got pregnant for my last child. I remember, maybe rewind to 3 years ago when I had my second son, and I remember I was doing a job, or I was working in a role as a customer service rep, something related to health insurance. I just got that gig at that time, and coming from a background of teaching, I was teaching. COVID happened. I needed, I wanted a break because I taught for a very long time, and then there were so many other limitations to teaching at the time. I didn't leave teaching because I was no longer passionate about it and all of that stuff, but because I needed to step up. I always love to impact knowledge. I love to train. I love to meet people, but God gives us these gifts and passion, and your level of exposure now determines where you play out those specific roles and passion that God has given you. So I knew I needed an upgrade. So when I got this job as a customer service rep, health insurance related, I was doing it at the time, and then, like we say, life happens, and boom, I took in for my last son. It made the job quite challenging at the time, having to navigate to work 8 to 5, and having 2 other kids to take care of at the time. And so we kind of pushed the job till when I had my last baby, and after I had him, having to nurse a newborn, having 2 other kids at the side, I couldn't cope, and I didn't return back to the job, of course, because I needed to give my child some time. I wasn't ready to be pushed in a hurry to return back to work 2 months after having a newborn and all of that. So I had this discussion with my husband, and then we came to a conclusion that, what, just for now, stay home, take care of these kids and all of that. There were so many other reasons in the mix, why I took that decision. And then when I was home, it was a time for strong redirection for me. And then I started asking God, Lord, what would you have me do? What next? Where am I going to from here? Now, take a rewind to that time. I was doing, before I got the customer service role, of course, I got a contract job, so to say, in a multinational. And while I was doing that contract job, I remember walking down to the administrative block at the time. think I needed something, stuff. And when I got there, I remember one of their top HR personnel, was talking to me about how he transitioned into HR and all of that. And then he just looked at me and said, "You do very well in HR. I don't know why I have this feeling about you." I didn't take that word really seriously at the time, but now that I'm here, I remember it all the time. And he just said it in passing. We had other discussions alongside, and that was the end of that discussion. So while I was home, nursing my third child, and I kept asking God, Father, what would you have me do? What's the direction from here, and all of that stuff. And the first advice I would give to anybody who is trying to find direction, who is trying to transition, into something new, is seek the face of God. Yeah, and while you're seeking the face of God, because God is our Father, He's our Maker, He's the one who knows why He has made us, He's the one who has given us every gift, that we have. He's our potter, but the mistake a lot of people make is they do things based on impulse, feelings, or peer pressure. You're just going in one direction because everybody's going in that direction. So while I was doing this, I decided that, okay, I'm seeking the face of God. I want God's direction. Tell me what to do. I'll get busy. So that's my second advice. Brings me to my second advice: get busy. Lay your hands on something. I think that what's the famous saying now? The idle man is the devil's workshop. Yeah, that's pretty true. But I think that God wastes nothing. You should get busy doing things, because I feel that information is constantly flying. It just depends on how open you are to, getting knowledge, and how sensitive you are. At the time when God is trying to speak to you, it could be through a friend, it could be through a book, it could be through a movie. God is constantly speaking to us as His children. And so I was discussing with a friend, a good friend at the time, and then he was telling me about some scholarship that I could apply for online, and I got interested, and I was like, okay, how do I apply for this and all of that? And then he explained it, and then I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And so I applied for, those scholarships, and I got them at the time. And so I started a course, a data analytics course. That course was supposed to run for 6 months, but because I was home, and then because I was determined to get busy, so I did that course for 3 months, and then at the end of the 3 months I was certified by Google, and felt really good. So by the time I was done with that course, because God wastes nothing, He will wait to see what you do with something as little as an information He gives you. And so because I utilized that, when my friend made that comment about, those scholarships and all, I knew I was sensitive, because I was at that point in my life where I was like, oh God, what do you want me to do? What next? What's the way from here? Because I was at that point, I was sensitive, and I knew this is something what God wanted me to do, to upskill at this time. And I wasn't going to let that information just die. I was going to act on it. So when they say information is power, no, information is not power. Information acted upon is power. So God was watching me, I believe, and I know that God was watching me to see what I would do with that information. And because I acted on it, I completed that course. Then He unveiled the next stage. So while I was done with that course at the time, I had worked on my LinkedIn account, brushed it up just a little bit and all of that. I became more active on there, of course, because I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to meet professionals. I wanted to know what it was like to meeting new people, have new people come into my space. Then I realized that a lot of things are happening in the online space, but if you are not open to growth, if you are not open to opportunities, you more or less, lose those opportunities. You more or less not even know that things are really happening in the online space. And so, someone headhunted me. Okay, now I know what headhunting is, and that's what I'm saying. So headhunting, it's a HR term. It has to do with when someone sends you an opportunity, maybe looks out, sees you and feels you're a good fit for an opportunity, and then they sell the opportunity to you. It's most times comes in opportunities like jobs, internships, and all of that. And so that person headhunted me and sent me a message and said, oh, she had looked through my profile and she thought I would be a good fit for an internship opportunity. It was an internship in human resource. Now, the organization is a foreign organization, and then they were coming into Africa at the time, and they were taking interns from Nigeria in various capacities for business development, tech support, HR. And so when the person says, look through my profile and he thinks I'll be a good fit for HR, I saw that message that day and I was showing my husband, and my husband was like, oh, this is cool. And then when the person now said it's an unpaid internship, I'm like, God, I want to transition into something. I need money as well. I mean, the course I just completed, I spent money, taking this course and all of that stuff, but my husband said, take it, take it. I think that, having a supportive spouse too who is as sensitive as you, or having supportive people, because this video is not just for married people, supportive people around you who are sensitive and who are encouraging you to do better is a very important factor to how far you go in life. Of course, you shouldn't expect everybody to believe in your dream, but at least there should be at least one person who is there cheering you on and say, oh, keep going, you can do this. And okay, I took the internship. I thought it was just going to be something in passing. Damn, man, I never knew it was something that was really going to stretch me. I was really stretched. I was stretched because we're given a target, to recruit each intern in HR is expected to recruit at least 15 interns in various capacities, and there was a deadline. If you are taking your internship for 3 months, for 4 months, 5 months, the minimum was 3 months, maximum was 6 months. You're expected to fill that gap. You're expected to recruit that number before the end of your internship. And then I started, I sold the internship opportunity to a lot of young people I knew around me, coppers and all of that stuff. Some signed up, some took it serious, some didn't take it serious. When something is unpaid, people don't tend to take it serious. And then within the first 2 months, because I was able to break through recruiting about 10 interns within the first 2 months into various fields, of course. They made me a team leader. I was awarded with the position of a team leader. So I became the team lead for the HR interns for Team Nigeria. If you want to clap. So I was really excited, but by the time I became a team leader, the work increased. I spent more resources, pushing through this internship, but I was determined. I wasn't going to stop on the way. I wasn't going to give up. Initially, I had signed up for 3 months internship, but at the end of the 3 months, the first 3 months, because I became a team leader for 2 months into the internship. So at the end of the 3 months, I just served as a team leader for 1 month, in the capacity of a team leader for 1 month. And the internship rule states that before you can be awarded your certificate, because they certify you at the end of the internship that you have an on-the-job training. So before you can be certified, you as a team lead, of course, you should have completed, I think, 2 months as a team lead. So what did I just do? I just extended my internship for another 3 months. So this was another 6 good months of not being paid and working actively. It was really challenging, I'm not gonna lie. So what were we doing? We're all about posting job ads, running recruitments, shortlisting, conducting the interviews, onboarding, trainings. Then as a team lead, you go a step ahead. You're the one that handles, a team leader handles more of the onboardings, and trainings. You send out the offer letters, you check on your team members, ensure that they are, carrying out their tasks. If anyone is inactive, you follow up on them. If they are not responding, you disengage them from the internship. And because it was purely remote, we had an office workspace. So at every time we are recruiting, you have to create an office workspace with the management for every member of the team, or every intern that comes into the team. So it was quite a lot of work at the time. I think I managed a total of 20 interns at the time I was running that internship. And by the time I was done at the end of the 6 months, God unveiled the next stage. So my second advice to you, I'm actually saying my story alongside. I don't want this video to be too lengthy, but it's almost 15 minutes. I'm actually sharing my story alongside so that somebody can be encouraged and understand what I'm saying firsthand. You know, it's different if I just come and say, oh, these are my recommendations, do this, you know, but I'm trying to share information firsthand, my own story firsthand, so that you can relate to what I'm saying, you know. And so I was saying that the next thing I would suggest is go for necessary trainings. Yeah, whether you're paid or not, no knowledge is wasted. It will always pay off. So go for the necessary training, look out for training opportunities, search for them, scout for them while you're on that path of redirection, while you're on that path of transitioning. It's very important. I said the first thing is seek the face of God. The next thing is get busy. Don't be idle. You know, don't waste anything, because God wastes nothing. God doesn't even waste things as little as information, you know. And so get busy, and then look out for trainings, necessary trainings, because of course before God will commit something into your hands, you need to build capacity. God doesn't just give us things, He gives us the grace and the time to grow into what He wants to commit to us. Okay, so the third, that's the third thing. That's the third point, I guess. Yeah. And so after that time out, the next internship opportunity came up, and that was a Nigerian internship, and this one was unpaid as well, but there were stipends alongside the internship. How did I secure this? I was on Instagram sometime, you know, but being sensitive to, like I said, is very important. I was on Instagram sometime, and I hope the background noise is not too much. So I was on Instagram at one time, and then I saw where a post was up, and they said, pitch yourself, what are you into, pitch yourself, set yourself in the comment section. And I talked about, you know, my interest in HR, what I'm doing as an intern and all of that, looking for a paid opportunity. And so a CEO saw this and then sent me a DM to apply for a Nigerian internship. They were giving stipends for that internship at the time, monthly stipends. And then I showed it to my husband again. My husband was like, oh, you're moving. He really teased me at the time. He said, okay, from unpaid courses to unpaid internships, on the job training, unpaid internship, now to stipend internship. You're moving forward. Are you not seeing that you're moving forward? It was really funny at the time. And so I took it up. You know, this was another internship that stretched me, because it was more like I was working full-time for this organization, 8 to 5, you know, in the capacity of, you know, a HR generalist, and it was remote but full-time. I organized meetings, file, onboard, recruit, only to get data stipend at the end of the month. Who does that? You know, it was for 3 months, and I did it religiously. I did it like it was my own full-time job at the time. You know, of course it was, but with no pay, of course. And then I kept pushing, and at the end, I had completed it. Yeah, towards the month to 1 week to when I was going to finally complete this internship. Of course, alongside, I've been applying for jobs, I've been putting my applications out there, believing God. And this time around, I had what I wanted God to do. So this was almost like 1 year of waiting on God, 1 year of learning, 1 year of upskilling, 1 year of trusting God, you know. And I put, of course, my application. I'm putting applications out there, and I applied for several jobs. You know, got a lot of rejections along the line, you know, but because I know the God whom I believe, and then I take rejections very well as a person because of my knowledge of God. I know that where God wants me to be, I'll surely be there, you know. And voila, a company reached out to me, and they said they were looking for a HR specialist, you know, to join their team and all of that. And then they scheduled me for an interview. It was a 2 hours interview, you know, a virtual interview, and we had that done. And shortly after the interview, I was sent an offer letter. This was about 1 week to some days to the end of the second on-the-job training I was having, you know. And it was like, God, how did you do this? And then I had T and C's because, of course, with 3 kids, I obviously need to have time for my family. There should be work-life balance, and because I've done several trainings and on the job remotely. I try to make this organization know that, I'm a guru working remotely and all of that, but for the peculiarity of the job, I needed to be commuting to work. And then we're able to reach an agreement that I could commute to work 3 times a week, and then the rest of the 2 times in a week I work from home. And God gave this to me, and I started the job. And within the first month, I was given a task, to organize their anniversary, and it was majorly my assignment, and I was able to do it excellently well by the help of the Holy Spirit. And that first month, of course, I was given an award of excellence. So what am I trying to bring out? And then that's where we are now, and we know that God is taking us higher and higher and higher. And then a couple of times like that, if some organizations have reached out, can you help us recruit and all of that, we're moving. And then it started like it started like not knowing what to do. It started like being lost. It started like being a dilemma of having another baby, and not being able to return back to work because how do I take care of my kids? There's no time with the state of my current job. And then from there to seeking the face of God, like, God, what next should I do? Where do you want me to go from here? From there to upskilling, utilizing every opportunity or information that comes my way, not wasting, because God wastes nothing. And then from there to unpaid internships, just learning without being paid. From there to getting stipends for learning, for working, and then from there to something more or less permanent. So I'll just say that this is a story I just wanted to share. I've postponed it for a very long time, but I'm happy I'm doing this. I know that God is speaking to somebody right now. I am not an island of knowledge, but I know that most of my videos are inspired by the Holy Spirit, and I know that God wants to use this video to encourage somebody, and that's why I try to be as practical as ever. So if you're ever at a time or a dilemma in your life where you don't know what next to do at a crossroad, you can always ask God. You can always trust God. Just be open-minded and be ready to listen to Him when He's leading you. Be ready to obey every instruction that He gives you, and stay sensitive. Stay sensitive. And while in that sensitivity, you need to be patient, because an impatient person cannot walk with God. So if this video has been a blessing to you, almost 23 minutes. Okay, if this video has really blessed you, so please remember to like, remember to share to everybody, every young person, every young adult, old adults who are interested in seeking God's face and getting clearer direction when it comes to their career. Please share with them. And also please subscribe to our channel. I said I was going to take at least 30 seconds to talk about this. Please subscribe to our channel. When you see our videos, don't just watch, don't just like, don't just share, don't just comment. Click the subscribe button. This is how you encourage the work that we do on these streets of Instagram. Please subscribe to our channel until I come your way again. Thank you so much, and bye for now.